Sniping has gotten a lot more prominent in the Crucible recently due to the Rovoker being the latest pinnacle weapon to get. So today I'm going to show you guys some tips for beginners and really just for people who are new to sniping in PvP, and if this video does well, I'll make another one for intermediate skills. With that being said, there are 5 main skills that I'm going to be talking about that should improve your sniping overall, especially if you're, like I said, completely new to it. So before I get into the actual structured list, I want to say a simple sort of statement that I think everyone needs to understand, especially when you're new to sniping. It is really difficult to snipe, and you're going to feel it be particularly hard at the beginning of your sort of sniping journey. You will miss shots, everyone misses shots, and that is okay. The important thing is that you stick with sniping and keep practicing. Sniping can be a very useful skill to learn because it gives you a whole new layer of skill that can be very destructive when done properly. This, in a way, brings me to my first and most basic thing one can do to start sniping, is choosing your own sniper. You can be very particular about the sniper you choose. It doesn't have to be because of its impact or range, but more about how it feels when you're using it. I use the Supremacy not at all because of its impact, but because it feels snappy to me and it's just overall nice when I'm playing with it. There are a lot of snipers to choose from, so this first tip may be a bit broad. Try as many snipers out for as long as you like. Just put on a scavenger perk and put on the sniper that you think you'd like and just try and have fun. Some people may like Alone as God, others may like Bite of the Fox, but you may like Beloved, and that's completely fine. Use what you like to use, and I promise once you've found the sniper you like, you will know it. A bit of a side note, I would recommend trying to stay away from slow-firing snipers, like in the Rovoker style archetype, due to them not being as forgiving on missed shots. Try to use a fast-firing sniper, at least for now, as they may be easier to line up follow-up shots if the first ones miss. The second tip may feel contradictory, so just bear with me. It can be very tempting to just go a full game trying to only snipe, especially when you're just starting out. It feels good to be that sniper in the back, going only for headshots, but at the same time, it may be unrealistic to do this. What I mean by this is when you are starting to snipe, do not just stay in the back and try to hit long-range shots. Treat your sniper like a secondary for now. Use it in situations that maybe your primary simply doesn't have the range for, or in moments where you have the other team on the run and to cover, and your primary just isn't going to kill them quick enough. If you think it would be better to push with your Recluse, then by all means push with your Recluse, and then just fall back and try to snipe again. The point is, try and snipe a little bit more, but treat your games with snipers like any other game, and it will feel much more realistic when maybe you can't only snipe in things like Comp or Rumble. The last 2 tips may have been a bit broad, so with the next 2, these things are very specific and are much more like real actions you can take to improve. The third tip is move not only your aiming hand, aiming finger on controller, but also your movement keys / movement finger. This means that anytime I was sniping in the video, you will see me, yes, I'm moving my aiming, obviously, but I'm also moving physically. I'm moving left and right, forward, backwards. Now, this not only helps in a bit of sort of directional control, but let's say the target or the enemy is moving to the right. You want to move with them. That makes it so that you're kind of standing still in a sense. If you want to match their speed, you're sort of making it a little bit easier for you to track their movements and hit that headshot. It just makes it easier. It eliminates a sort of element while sniping. Especially right here. I'm aiming down sight and I'm not standing still. If I stand still, it kind of makes it just harder for me to track someone that's moving, and in Destiny, pretty much everyone is moving all the time, and you should be too. Now what I mean by it removes an element of sniping is, imagine you're standing on a sidewalk and you're trying to shoot a car. It's a pretty big object, so it might be pretty easy to hit, but because it's moving, it might be a lot harder to hit than if it was just standing still. By you moving with the object, you are essentially standing still with them. You are moving next to them, so imagine that you are in a second car and you're moving along with them, matching their speed. You're essentially removing an element of the aim. There is no penalty for moving and shooting. It's the exact same thing if you were standing still. The biggest thing is that this is one of the most fundamental things when sniping in Destiny. The fourth tip is kind of similar in a sense, especially in this gameplay right here. I am laning, and laning is pretty much when it's kind of what it sounds like. You're just kind of in a straight flat surface and there's kind of 2 openings and you're kind of just waiting for someone to peek, or you're going to peek yourself. Now that is fundamental to practicing, trying to keep you and the enemy on a level playing field. Trying to only use the X-axis and not necessarily the Y-axis like up and down. Right here in that bridge that I just ran across, that is a perfect position to try and practice that. because now you're eliminating another element, the y-axis. So you don't have to look up, you don't have to aim up or snap up really quickly. All you have to do is left and right. That is another thing that is very fundamental to trying to practice sniping. You're again eliminating an element that makes it harder to snipe, and since you're practicing, I highly recommend that you do this. Trying to snipe in a y-axis and an x-axis moving left and right while also trying to aim up is a lot harder than just looking left and right. The last thing isn't something you can do per se. It isn't something that is an action like the last two. It's really just to keep pushing and to keep practicing. You're going to miss shots. Everyone's going to miss shots, and it's going to feel difficult and annoying, especially when you're starting out. But keep pushing and keep practicing, and it's going to become a lot more cool and a lot more fun to do. So I wanted to show this specific gameplay because I wanted you guys to see that I miss shots. Everyone misses shots, and that's okay. Again, everyone's going to do it, and I do it too. I still have a lot to learn, and I hope with this video, I've kind of passed on what I've learned throughout the years, and it makes it a little bit easier to snipe and a little bit more fun too, because it's probably one of the most fun things, at least in my opinion, to do in the Crucible. So thank you guys for watching, and again, I hope it helped, and I'll see you guys next time.